Honestly, I hit a wall this week. A massive emotional wall. You know that feeling when you've been good for so long that you just want to set everything on fire? That was me on Tuesday night. I was staring at my phone, thumb hovering over a checkout button for a cart totaling 140 $20, and I wasn't thinking about my debt snowball or my long-term goals. I was just thinking, I deserve this. It's scary how fast months of discipline can evaporate just because you're tired. This is my real-time journey, not expert advice. Here is exactly what happened. I think I underestimated the sheer mental weight of saying no. When I started this journey to pay off my debt, I treated it like a sprint. I cut everything. No $6 lattes, no ordering takeout on Fridays, no upgrading my tech. And for the first few weeks, the adrenaline carried me. I felt powerful.
And look at this.
I was looking at my
The debt line
spreadsheet, seeing
is
the numbers go
plummeting,
down,
which means
and feeling like
our
I was
savings-
finally in control. But nobody talks about the fatigue that sets in around week 6 or 7. It's like being on a strict diet where you only eat kale. Eventually, you don't just want a burger, you want to eat the whole menu. That's exactly what frugality fatigue feels like. It's not about the money anymore. It's about the decision fatigue. Every single day, I have to make 20 active choices to not spend money. Do I walk past the coffee shop? Yes. Do I ignore the targeted ad on Instagram? Yes. Do I tell my friends I can't make it to the concert? Yes. Those no's are heavy. They accumulate. Imagine carrying a backpack, and every time you deny yourself something small, you add a rock to the bag. One rock isn't heavy, but after 40 days of this, my backpack is crushing me. I felt physically exhausted by the act of being responsible. I started feeling resentment toward my own budget. I looked at my tracking app and just felt angry. I thought, what is the point of working this hard if I can't enjoy anything, right? Now, that resentment is dangerous. It builds up silently until it explodes in an impulse buy. And that brings me to Tuesday night, lying in bed, feeling sorry for myself, and looking for a dopamine hit to make the exhaustion go away. It was 11:45 p.m. The house was quiet, the lights were off, and the only thing illuminating the room was the blue glow of my phone screen. I was on one of those daily deal sites. You know the ones. They have a countdown timer in the corner that screams urgency. In my cart, I had 3 items. A waterproof weekend bag, I don't even go camping, a pair of premium joggers, and a tech organizer case. The total came to $145.22. Here's the thing, I didn't need any of it. My current gym bag has a broken zipper, but it works. I have pants. I have a drawer full of cables that are tangled, sure, but they exist. But in that moment, looking at those high-res product photos, I convinced myself that buying these things would change my life. I told myself that if I had the tech organizer, I'd be more productive. If I had the cool weekend bag, I'd be the kind of person who goes on spontaneous, adventurous trips, instead of the person sitting in the dark, worrying about credit card APR percentages. I was trying to buy a new identity because I was tired of my current one. My current identity is the person paying off debt. And frankly, that guy is boring. He says no to everything. He brings a packed lunch. He's responsible. I wanted to kill him for a minute and be the cool guy with the premium joggers.
Line clearly illustrates our
The
growth.
checkout screen was mesmerizing. My shipping address was already saved. My credit card info was auto-filled. All I had to do was double-click the side button on my phone for Apple Pay to scan my face, and the dopamine would be mine. It was frictionless. It was terrifyingly easy to undo weeks of work in literally 2 seconds. I actually moved my thumb to the button. I felt this weird surge of
My
adrenaline,
savings
like
are
a rebellion.
gone.
It felt
Only
like
debt remains.
revenge spending.
I've lost everything because
I
of
was
this.
angry at my budget for controlling me, so I wanted to hurt it back. It sounds irrational when I say it out loud now, but in the moment, it made perfect emotional sense. I work hard, I thought. I earned this money. Why am I living like a monk? Then, something happened. I didn't click. I didn't close the app either. I just froze. I think what stopped me was a
As you can
specific
see from the pie
visualization
chart,
I've been
our
working on for the
profits
channel.
significantly
I
outweigh our
pictured the
debt
stick
and
figure
loan.
version of me standing at the bottom of a hole. Every time I make a debt payment, I add a little ladder rung to climb out. But looking at that $145 $20 total, I saw myself not just stopping the climb, but actually taking a shovel and digging the hole deeper. I did the math in my head, not the complex interest math, just the life math. 145, that is almost exactly what I spend on groceries for 2 weeks. If I click that button, I was essentially trading 2 weeks of food for a bag I'd use twice a year. I sat there for what felt like 10 minutes, just staring at the place order button. The countdown timer on the site hit 0, and then just reset to 24 hours. That was the reality check. The urgency was fake. The debt is real. I slowly swiped up and closed the app. I wish I could tell you I felt triumphant. I wish I could say I pumped my fist and shouted, "Take that, consumerism!" But I didn't. I felt empty. I felt sad. I put my phone on the nightstand and just felt deprived. Closing that browser tab felt like slamming a door on a version of myself that gets to have fun. I lay there in the dark feeling like a responsible adult and realizing that sometimes being a responsible adult feels miserable. I managed to save the money. The $145 stayed in my account. But the feeling of burnout didn't go away just because I didn't spend the cash. I realized that if I didn't fix this feeling, this frugality fatigue, I was going to snap eventually, maybe not tonight, but maybe next week. I'd blow $500 instead of $150. I had won the battle, but I was losing the war because I was fighting against my own psychology. I needed a release valve, or I was going to explode. The next morning, over my kitchen coffee, which by the way cost about $0.40 compared to the $6 cafe latte, I realized that willpower is a battery, and mine was dead. In Atomic Habits, there's this idea that you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. My system was 100% restriction, and that system is brittle. It doesn't bend, so it eventually breaks. I realized I was treating my budget like a prison sentence instead of a plan. If I kept trying to be perfect, I was going to end up buying that $150 bag or worse, giving up entirely. So I decided to build a safety valve. I opened up my budget spreadsheet again. I looked at the miscellaneous category, which I had aggressively set to $0 weeks ago. I deleted the 0 and typed in $20, $20. It doesn't sound like much, but psychologically, it shifted everything. This is my no questions asked fund. I can spend this $20 on a magazine, a fancy coffee, a digital game, or absolute junk. The only rule is that I have to pay cash for it, and once it's gone, it's gone. But for that $20, I don't have to feel guilty. It's a strategic leak. By intentionally wasting $20, I am saving the other $120 I almost impulse spent. I'm releasing the pressure from the valve so the whole tank doesn't explode. I actually went out and bought a $4 ebook I've been wanting to read. It wasn't a necessity. It didn't help me get out of debt faster, but it made me feel like a human being again. It reminded me that I'm in charge of the money. The money isn't in charge of me. My 1% improvement this week isn't about saving more. It's actually about saving less, intentionally, so that I can keep going for the long haul. A 99% perfect plan you stick to for a year is infinitely better than a 100% perfect plan you quit after 2 months. My 1% mission for tomorrow is to set up your own safety valve. Look at your budget. Can you find just $5 or $10 a week that is yours to burn? Just a tiny amount to keep the rebellion at bay. What is the one small treat that keeps you sane? Let me know in the comments so we can normalize not being robots. I am not a financial expert or advisor. This content is for documenting my personal journey and for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions.